Hello and welcome to this series on managing low back pain. So in today's practice you won't really need any props other than a brick, if you have one, a foam block or brick, or a couple of books or just a big thick book, whatever you have to hand. So go ahead and grab that and let's get started. Okay, so when we think about the back, it's really a stabilizing structure, right? We have this long sort of spine that keeps us stable and allows our limbs to move in all kinds of different wonderful ways that we need them to. But quite often, due to our posture, from sitting at a desk and then getting up and doing maybe an hour of some kind of training, putting a lot of pressure on different parts of our back and then going back to our desks, we can sort of encounter maybe imbalances and eventually a little bit of pain. So to avoid that, or to just manage any pain that you might be experiencing, we're going to do just a very gentle practice to help to just stabilize, strengthen, and lengthen any places that feel maybe tight or compressed. So if we think about the spine, it's this kind of S-shaped structure, and in that S-shaped structure, that's where we find our ability to stabilize, and everything stacks in such a way that the body is able to support itself in gravity in this perfect and beautiful kind of relationship with it. So if we're sitting, normally, come onto a block just to get your hips elevated. You can also do this on a chair just to see if that feels more comfortable for you. So you want the sitting bones to feel connected, so these kind of bony bits down at the bottom feel connected to the ground or to your sitting apparatus. And then we'll find this kind of natural lumbar curve in this lower back sort of area. So it curves in there, and then you can think about the front of the spine as well, so it comes in a little bit forward towards the belly button. And then it goes out again, so we have this kind of thoracic area that it goes a little bit more straight. You can even feel maybe a little bit more into the bony bits here. But what tends to happen is that we round so much that we're really accentuating, and it becomes almost like a C-shape curve the other way in this section of the spine. So we want to try to keep that sort of a little bit more neutral. And then the spine curves in again here at the neck, right? And what tends to happen in the neck is that we're leaning so far forward and we're taking that sort of natural curvature out of the neck spine. And the head is really quite heavy, it weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. So if you can imagine that sort of weight pulling the little small neck bones forward all the time, that creates a lot of strain for the muscles that are supporting the neck there. So we're going to start our practice today just lying onto the back. So soles of the feet onto the ground, lower back just evenly placed, and your hands can be maybe onto your lower belly. And just start to sort of tune into the structure of your spine. So both front and back of the spine. This kind of internal part of the spine and the back part that maybe we think about a little bit more often. And as we breathe, you might sort of tune into any movement that you feel in the spine. Now, it may or may not feel any movement, that's fine. So if you just breathe in, maybe feel the belly gently rise into the hands. As you breathe out, it falls away from the hands. Breathing in, lifts up. And breathing out, belly lowers down. And as I was saying earlier, right, the spine sort of curves in at this sort of low back space. So then just pressing down into the feet a little bit stronger. So you're not creating really any movement, just feeling a sense of pressing down into the ground through the feet. And then as you breathe in, imagine sort of tipping your sitting bones forward, so you're rolling forward towards the edge of the sitting bones. And you might feel a curve coming into that lower back space. And then as you breathe out, flattening the lower back to the ground. So as you breathe in, allowing the sitting bones to roll forward. And as you breathe out, allowing the lower back to flatten down towards the earth. So it's just a really simple movement, and you can work this with your breath. So breathing in and out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, lifting and breathing out, lowering. And then we're going to just start to press into the feet once again, but this time start to lift the back away from the earth. So only come as high as feels comfortable. And you really feel as though the hip bones are pressing up towards the ceiling. And then you can rest the hands by the sides, palms facing down. This can give you a little bit of support. And then see if you can relax your glute muscles. So you just get nice and soft through the glutes. So you're really working through the fronts of the legs and the backs of the legs to lift you up here. And then we're going to just start a little bit of a movement. So if you can imagine that your pelvis is in a hammock, and then you're just kind of rocking the hammock from side to side. So we're going to feel a little bit of work here into the legs. And you can continue on with that sort of side to side movement, or you might like to make little kind of circles with the hips, in this kind of floating position. And if you go one way, just make sure you go the other way as well. Just make sure it's always pain-free. So if you do have any issues with your lower back, just being mindful. Good. Okay, and then we're going to gently bring that movement to a close. So start to lower the back all the way down to the earth once again, and just take a little pause. And just notice how you feel through the legs, back of the pelvis onto the ground. And then on your next in-breath, press into the hands, lift the hips above the ground once again. And then as you exhale, slowly lower down from the upper back towards the lower back. So you find this really nice sequential movement. So press down, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lowering from the upper back towards the lower back. And again, press down, lift up. Just taking your time with it. The slower you go, the more sort of strength and awareness you build through the movements you are making. Press down, lift up. And then if it feels okay, you might incorporate the hands with this movement. So as you breathe in, hands lift up and over the head. And as you exhale, hands come down by the sides, hips lower down. Inhale, lifting up, over the head. Exhale, lowering all the way back down. Let's do a couple more of those. Inhale, lifting up. Remember, just slowing the movements. You always want to go a little bit faster. See if you can make your challenge to just go a little bit slower. Inhaling up and exhaling all the way back down. Good. Okay, from there, just take your feet as wide as your mat so that the baby toe hits the outer edge of the mat. And we'll just allow there to be a little side-to-side movement, so you can extend the arms out to the side and allow the knees to drop from one side to the other side. So you can feel the body sort of rolling on the tops of the hips there. easing out the lower back. Okay, just doing one more to either side. And remember again, you can go really slow with this movement. And then finishing the center, gently hug the knees in. And this will give a little stretch to the lower back and the tops of the hips. And then gently release the hands. We're going to extend the legs up. Now, if it's okay, you can keep the legs straight. If you need to have a little bend in your knees, that's also totally fine. So we're reaching up through the toes. The hands can be by the sides. And then we're just going to start really tiny movements, reaching the left foot slightly forward and then the right foot slightly forward. So we're just kind of like doing a tiny walk on the ceiling. Just back and forth. And again, it's a really slow, very precise movement. So just watching the feet and noticing, feeling down into the hips and the lower abdomen. So it looks pretty basic, but we are building a little bit of strength down there to help support the lower back. Let's do just a few more of these. Should be maybe starting to feel it. Okay, and then gently start to lower your left foot to the ground. So the left foot comes to the ground and keep your right leg up. Take your hands onto the hip points, so the bony bits that poke out there, and then you're going to slowly start to lower the right foot down, almost to touch the ground. So when you get to about an inch away from the earth, just pause. And then lift the leg all the way back up, nice and slow. Bringing the foot all the way down, nice and slow, take your time with it. And then slowly rising all the way back up. And again, slowly, and you might feel a little bit of a wobble as your foot tries to kind of adjust and stay stable. And you don't have to go super low down if it's feeling quite intense. You can keep the leg just to the point where it feels quite stable. And if it feels okay, you can also start to extend your right leg here, your left leg, and allow that right leg to lift up and down. Let's do 2 more of these. Good, and then gently bend your right foot, placing it onto the ground, and bring your left leg into the air. So we'll do the same again, starting just slow movements, all the way down, and lifting, nice and slow, all the way back up. Taking your time. You can even start to maybe pair the breath with the movement, so exhaling on your way down. Inhaling on your way up. Exhaling on the way down. Inhaling on the way up. And then again, if it feels okay for your lower back, you can extend that right leg forward. And again, just continuing the movement. Nice and slow. Feeling that wobble and shake so you know that you're building a little bit of strength. Let's do 2 more. Slowly lowering and slowly lifting. Good. Gently bend your left knee, place it onto the ground, bring your right knee in, and then you can hug both knees in, but really softly. So right hand onto the right knee, left hand onto the left knee, and then we'll just make really small circles with the knees. You feel the hips sort of rolling onto the ground here as well, so the head of the thigh bone dropping into the socket and just rolling around. Good. Okay, we're going to take a little twist. So place the soles of the feet onto the ground, extend the arms out wide, and then bring your hips slightly over to the left-hand side first. And then you can allow the knees to drop both over to the right. You can either place your right hand onto the top of that right knee, and left knee, to allow yourself to twist a little bit deeper. Maybe look towards your left hand. Just feeling this kind of nice rotation through the spine. Good, and then gently bring your head back through to center. Bring the knees back through to center, nice and gently. Move your hips over to the right and allow your knees to drop to the left. You can place a hand there and look off to the right hand side. Taking a few rounds of breath just into your belly, softening the body into this twist. Okay, and then gently bring the knees back through to center. So just the hips so they're in center once again, and then extend the legs up. So a little bend in the knees. Imagine your knees are being suspended by strings, your feet are being suspended by strings, and then extend the arms up. And again, the arms, joints are kind of just floppy here. So it's like a dead bug pose. And then if you like, you can bring a little movement into this, like a little shake out, just letting go. And feel free to laugh. And then gently release. And you can either keep the soles of the feet planted onto the ground, adjusting the hips, or you might like to extend the whole body long, arms by the sides, and we'll just take a moment for rest. Relaxing the whole of the body. Letting go of any tension, holding in the back, the shoulders, face. Rest is as important for managing pain as any exercise. And then feel free to stay for longer if you like, or gently start to bend your knees, roll yourself onto your side, and press yourself up. I hope you enjoyed that little practice. Let me know how it goes. Drop me any comments in the comment boxes below, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Well,